talking about defending your rights as Englishmen. You're talking about a new country. All the colonies united. A new nation.
Any man found violation of His Majesty's laws will be dealt with without mercy.
An incident in the colonies.
For rebels causing mischief and mayhem in the streets.
No! These are our streets!
Gentlemen, you will henceforth be known as the Minutemen.
These colonists are committing treason. They are thugs and outlaws, the sons of tyranny. They should be beaten into submission. Send in the troops.
I found you!
We need more guns.
You have the influence. I have the money. This has gone too far. It has to end now.
So this is where greatness resides.
You show them what we're made of.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another edition of History in Hollywood. Now I know you're saying, how can you be talking about history and Hollywood when we're supposed to be creating a video on primary sources on the early Republic? Actually, it's kind of simple. The edited clip at the beginning of this presentation that you just saw is based on the History Channel's miniseries, The Sons of Liberty. It brings together well-known names such as Samuel Adams, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, John Hancock, and many more, and brings them to life. And it explores the events leading up to the Revolution, including the Boston Tea Party. But is it the whole story? And the answer is obviously no. So here you are, you're teaching American History 1, and you've got to make it relevant. Because let's face it, most of our students aren't going to be looking at American History 1 as exciting. If you ask them who Sam Adams was, he's the guy on the Oktoberfest beer. Not quite. So, you're going to be able to use something like the clip you just saw from the Sons of Liberty and use it with primary sources. And this is how you're going to do it. When your students come in to class, you're going to be standing there with a bag of chips. No, not Pringles, not Lay's. You're going to be standing there with a bag of poker chips. Red ones and blue ones. Each student will pick one, have a seat, leaving the chip on the desk. Now, this is where you show them the clip. And you're going to be focusing on three statements. Rogues become rebels. Rebels become heroes. Both of those are in that clip. The last statement is one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter or patriot. Now this is when you're going to present them with the following project. Sons of Liberty, patriots or terrorists. Each group will now be divided. If you have blue chips, one side of the room, red chips, the other side of the room. And you're going to be working together as a team. And 1 week is what you have. So if, let's say you have class Monday, Wednesday, Friday, present this on a Wednesday, the following Wednesday is when they would come back with their information. If you have a blue chip, you're looking at it from the colonist or the American point of view of the Sons of Liberty are patriots. You're going to go find primary sources to support this. If you're the red chips, you're looking at it from a loyalist or a British point of view and saying that they are terrorists. It was kind of alluded in that clip because you saw some of the British saying, you know, if you were against His Majesty the King, you'll be dealt no mercy, things like that. So, while they're together on their week of searching, they're going to go find primary sources. And some of the primary sources that you can tell them that they can find are, say, at like the National Archives, one of my personal favorites. And they have one that's called the Founders Online. Now, this is literally all of the founders and different things they've written. So one of the ones I found was a letter that was actually written by John Hancock, Samuel Adams, John Adams, and a couple others to John Wilkes, November 4th, 1769. And it's from the Committee of Boston Sons of Liberty. And they go on to explain different events of the nature of how the British are treating the colonists during the time leading up to the Boston Tea Party. Then there's also another one I found just literally on a very quick search from the founders online, and this is from John Adams' diary, which was dated August 22nd, 1774. Again, right before the Revolution. And he goes talking on about meeting different people during the day, but meeting one man in particular, and his name is Peter Van Bruin Livingston. And he states, Mr. Livingston states, if England should turn us adrift, we would instantly go to civil war among ourselves to determine which colony would govern all of the rest. Evidently does not have a strong feeling about the colonists themselves. So, you know, you've got to look at different ones, and they could even go to another primary source holder, which is called the Digital Public Library of America, which holds newspaper articles, maps, images, and they have a large section just on the Boston Tea Party. And if you can focus some of the Sons of Liberty events around the Boston Tea Party, it really helps to define whether they're patriots or terrorists. Each group has to create a 3-minute written and oral article, argument about presenting their view on the Sons of Liberty as either a patriot or a terrorist. Of course, it must be cited. If you have any images or different visual props, also have to be cited and everything like that. When the class reconvenes, they will literally sit across from each other and they will present their argument. But it also gives a chance for the other side for questions and rebuttals. And it gets them to actively participate in looking at the Sons of Liberty's actions and seeing whether or not they were terrorists or patriots. And this is where you can help point out to them that there are two sides to every story, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. And how you look at history is more than just one side or the other. When you focus on American history, there's more than just the American point of view. And sometimes the other point of view isn't that, yay, go team, kind of view. Now, this is where you're also going to re-engage them and show them that history can repeat itself. And this is where you look at them and ask, think back to the 2016 elections. There were a large group of people who did not believe that the elected president was the right man for the job. They, to this day, do not believe that he is the right man for the job. And so they have turned away from him. They believe he's a bully. They believe he's a tyrant. They believe that he does not have their best interests at heart. Very much like the Sons of Liberty did with King George. So, are we looking at another set of young sons and daughters of liberty trying to fashion a better government and being a patriot? Or are their actions a benign form of terrorism? Sort of looking at things as a passive-aggressive way. And how can we look at the actions of 2016? Are they a reenactment of the Sons of Liberty without the violence? Or are we looking at something totally different? Both were upset with an unjust and corrupt government, or one they thought was unjust and corrupt. Whether it was or not still remains to be seen. So ask them the question, are we heading for a revolution Are we heading for something else? Or will everything smooth out in the end? It's a way to get them to start talking. Thank you for listening to me babble on. I know the video is long, but it's a way to use primary sources and a little bit of Hollywood to help your classes. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.